This is all the stresses, the videos that they show on how a Kia can be stolen. I got worried. I feel like this person is following me. My car is gone. I think it was stolen. When he said $300, I'm on the phone. I'm like, "What?" I said, I hate having my hand out. I hate asking for money. Probably seeing, feeling, or hearing that I'm taking someone's last kills me. Always feel like I want to suffer before asking for anything. I was going to talk about steps and what you do to de-stress. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shaunda. I'm Shaunda. What it do, guys? It's another Thursday, and it's cool. I've been cool. Before getting into this episode, I just wanted to just say how thankful and grateful that I have people who do watch. I'm happy that I do have my outlet, and that's just the way how I express myself. I'm very happy about that. So let's talk about expressing myself. In this episode, I'm going to talk about, de-stressing yourself and the ways that you can do it. So I hope everybody sticks towards the end of this episode because I'll be talking about it. But before I get into that, I wanted to tell you about how the emotions of stress and also stress just builds up and how you can release. So with my stress this week, it was just really crazy. I thought my car was stolen. Okay, the kind of car that I do have is a Kia. All right. I know that from what I've seen on videos and all the videos that they show on how a Kia can be stolen, I got worried. I didn't get worried because of the fact that my dealership guy said I have nothing to worry about. It's a newer model. They fixed it on this one. You don't have to worry about people breaking into your car. Boom. I thought my car was broken into. Reason why. You know how you plan out the day. I planned out my day to do my hair. And I'm like, okay, boom. I prepped the house. I put all the stuff that I need to put and, out, just preparing. Also with my prep work, I cut the, extra hair that just doesn't need to be there to take out my hair a little bit more faster. So I'm like, all right, cool. I cut it and I was like, okay, I need to leave. With me leaving, the reason why I had to leave was because I have to go pick up the shine jam that I need for my hair. And I need to go pick up the blow dry that I need for my hair. All this is at my sister's and my mom's house. Have to make my way there. So I cut the extra hair out, put a hat on. I go outside. Going outside, and the parking spaces that I normally like, it's either right across the parking lot is where I park, or as soon as you walk, there's parking spaces, I'm right there. And my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, where I usually park in these spaces, it's empty. So I'm like, okay, I parked across the parking lot. I go a little bit, as you walk up the steps, everything just starts to appear, and I'm like, oh, my car. And I'm like, oh, I must have parked up the street a little bit, right up there. I'm walking, seeing nothing, and I'm like, Then I walk back and I see nothing this way, and I'm like, maybe I'll park a little bit down that way. No, I'm like, crazy thing, I'm in the Lululand. I don't wanna admit that my car is gone. So I walk back to my house to walk back out and then look like, no, my car isn't here. Then I press the panic button and then I'm like, I don't hear shit. First thing that's in my mind is that my car is stolen. Reason why. Couple of weeks back, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks back, I was coming back from the grocery store. I'm driving, I see in my rear view mirror that this car is swerving. So this car has caught my attention. I'm turning, the car turned. So I'm like, all right, cool. The reason why it swerved back into place, it just seemed like it needed to get to me. So I'm like, okay, this car has my attention now. I feel like this person is following me. And I turn into my complex, the first entrance I turn into. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get in my parking space. The car goes straight. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I'm still aware of my surroundings. I'm still aware of this. I park in my space or in a space. And, I'm about to get out the car. But then I notice that the same car comes back around. The same car comes back around in my area, in my complex area, and stops a little bit to the side But I see this person, I see him see me, look at him, and I stare him down because I'm like, now I know, like, I see you. He ends up going, like, pulling off just a little bit, and then he stops at the end of the road, like before at the stop sign right there before you leave my place, and stays there. And I'm like, yo. In my mind, I said, I should follow this person. And see where they're going, so they know that I see them. And yeah, my dumb ass. But I was like, I just came from the grocery store. I had milk. I have ice cream. It needs to get in that freezer because I'm not gonna let this go to waste. Okay? So when the car pulled off, I didn't think to get the tags. I didn't think to get the tags at all. And that has just been always on my mind. So after that day, I was just always aware of like what's around me. I was suspicious of every car that seemed that they were like following me, heads that turned that just stayed a little bit more than 10 seconds in my eyesight. Like I'm like, all right, okay. This seems a little bit sketch. So afterwards, I just let it all go because, you know, it was 4 weeks ago. What's going to happen? And then this happens. I assumed that car took, or whoever was in my car took the Kia. And I've seen so many videos on how. So one of the videos that I saw was where a person takes an antenna-ish. What the antenna does, it connects the key to the antenna to the car. So it makes it seem that the key is right next to the car. And that you can get into the car, it can turn on, it can be driven away. That was my whole thing. I'm on the phone with Shaunda, I'm like, can't believe this shit. And then it didn't really hit me. Here's the wallet situation again. I left my wallet in my car. This time I knew it was in my car because it wasn't in my bag. I don't have to be asked because I called both my sisters. Like after I got off the phone with Shaunda, or actually I texted the family first. I was like, my car's gone. I think it was stolen, blah, blah, blah. Stacy called me and then Selena called me. And then I said like, I didn't realize until I was on the phone with Selena that I left my wallet in the car. Her question, and I don't need to hear this question at the time where I'm like starting to panic, was, why would you leave your wallet in the car? I really don't understand and I really don't have an answer, but it's one of those things that's just like, I'm gonna get to it, I'm gonna do it, and you just don't, okay? It just happened. I was like, I don't need to hear this right now. I get off the phone with her, then I get on the phone with Shaunda. Shaunda's on her way to me, so I can figure this out. I'm pacing, I'm on the phone, I'm outside looking crazy, because I'm like, where, how? Like, I'm going back and forth, pacing my parking space, or just pacing the parking lot. And then I was like, I need to not pace in this area. I'm like, I'm thinking that people are just out, seeing this girl walk back and forth, whatever. I go towards the front of my apartment complex, and then I'm just waiting for Shaunda. I did call the police to report the car stolen, you know, all this other stuff. Just taking the proper steps. Shaunda gets there, I'm talking to her and just tell her that my wallet's in my car. She asks the same question. I blow up. I don't need to hear that question right now. I don't know. Like I was just, I was so irritated. I was like, I don't need to hear that right now. I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do to get my stolen car back. I go to the leasing office. Dude that's there. I'm like, hey, do you guys have cameras out front by any chance? Do you have cameras out front? And they're like, no. So yeah, I believe my car was stolen. This is the way I'm talking to this guy. It's not there. It was there before. I don't know. He was just like, oh, well, do you know, like, if you were told last night? I'm like, told? Why? I live here. Why would I be told? Yeah, so, you know, some people do, like, park in the reserved parking spot. Maybe that was you. He didn't say it like that, but this was, like, my thought process. I'm like, fuck no. I go to the front. The front has the sign that has the tow-in place number. I call it. Hey, guys. Hello. Hi. Try to keep cool. It's like, I'm just wondering if you guys like ended up towing a Kia last night. And they're like, no, hold on. Let me check the lot. It's there. My car was towed. Reason why was because I parked in a reserved parking spot. I didn't know. Okay, let me just say, the way how that day looked, I was tired, you know? I did not see that sign. And I didn't see it. I just knew that I was tired. I wanted to get in the house. I wanted to lay down. I wanted to fall asleep. That was my only thought. You know, your brain, now I really understand where people say my brain was on autopilot. My brain was definitely on autopilot. So, and then the other thing too, I don't pull in. I am not a pull-in person. I back it up. I back in. I hate pulling in. I'm not good at it. I'm too close to the other car, and it's just not lined up. It's not even. It's not in the middle. It's not right in between those lines. I get a perfect, precise back in parking space, parking with my car, and I always do it. So I did not see that sign. Those were the two things. Right next to that sign is also a handicap sign. I always notice the handicap sign, but for some reason, this reserved parking, I did not see it. So my car is gone. All right, happy that it's there. That's one little less stress that I have to worry about. Can I just come pick up my car? Is there any payment to release it? Yeah. How much? $300. When he said $300, I'm on the phone. I'm like, that's the first reaction that I did. I was like, are you serious? $300? It's like, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not really throwing up, but like, I'm sick to my stomach that this is the sound that I have to make, because $300 to get a car in a place that I lived in that. And like, I was just thinking about the other person and what he was probably thinking, like, should have never parked in a reserved parking spot. I didn't see the sign. That's all I have to say. Okay. I did not see the sign. $300. Okay. I tell Shaunda it's at the towing place. It's $300 to get it out. Steps. This is all the stresses. This is all the peace that leads up to like just stress in itself. So how can I get $300? I was like, okay, cool. I have to take $100 out my savings. And now I have to figure out where to get the rest of the $200. And this involved me calling my dad. My dad is part of my inner circle. I felt very comfortable calling my dad. My dad said, yeah, I have $100, but I'll go broke. You can definitely take it to get your car out. Once he said that, I said, Dad, I'm not taking your last. I'm not going to do that if you don't have it. And then he said, hello, stops me. Said, I'm your father. If I have it, I'll give it to you. But I'm like, Dad, technically you don't have it, because the fact that I'm taking this from you and you won't have anything till 2 weeks from now, I can't do that to you. I can't. I said, I told him that. And I just start running a list down of people who I can ask. People that's part of the inner circle. I don't like going outside my circle. I'll explain that later. But with talking to my dad, just going down a list of who I can ask. My father says, if you do need it, just call me back. I'll give it to you. Okay. I call Stacy. Stacy had 100. I'm like, okay, cool. That's $200. My dad has a 300, might as well take it, right? I'm on my way to my dad's with Shaunda, and he ends up like leaving me a voicemail. I was calling him during this, but he said that he didn't have it. He actually broke it and didn't have the whole 100. And I'm like, okay, now I have to figure out what else. Then there was the talk about going outside of the circle and asking for money. I wrote this down in my journal. Because it was just a lot. So I start off with my pit. I said, I hate having my hand out. I hate asking for money. Probably seeing, feeling, or hearing that I'm taking someone's last kills me. I don't like feeling of owing someone or feeling like this or something they can hold over my head. Always feel like I want to suffer before asking for anything. I have done this a lot. I have done this a lot with not and going without as long as I can until I can figure it out. But I would never, ever, ever ask for anybody for help. Reason why was this. I just don't like feeling like I'm taking somebody's last, which also involved me going outside of my inner circle. I don't call my grandmother on a regular basis. I don't call my aunts on a regular basis. So the fact that I'm calling them and, it's not just a hi, it's not a hey, it's a favor. May I borrow? Can you loan me some money? Getting all this just gets me very overwhelmed. It gets me very anxious because, again, I don't talk to my family members as often as I should. And all out of the blue, you pop up, you see a number on there, or me, my name, and the first thing that I'm calling about is asking for money. I think I asked like 2 people, and with Shaunda, which I'm very grateful for, with Shaunda and her being in the car and just like helping me try not to think so negative about it. It's not wrong to ask. It's not wrong to ask for help. And I still have to like understand that, get over that it's not really wrong asking for help. But I'd say that I think it's, for me, it's different levels. I feel like it's okay to ask for help to like fix something. Can you put up something? Can you, asking for their time, I don't mind asking that. But when it comes to something as big as money, I don't like asking for it. It's not my thing, but I had to come over that. I took deep breaths, and weird thing is like before asking for money, I'm trying to do small talk, and it's like, all right, cool, now get to the point. And it was just hard to find that like transition into like, hey, while I have you on the phone, it was just very hard for me to do that. Also too, another uncomfortable situation is also asking people for money, but then they don't get back to you. Because there was like, I sent somebody a text and there was no response. There was no response, and that also like got me, because then I'm like anxious, like, oh right, like don't leave me just hanging up in the air. Just tell me no, just tell me yes, something, but not nothing, and then that's that. So it was just a whole thing, but I really do not like it. I hate it. It's just my pet peeve. So that was just like also a really, really bigger stress on top of stress of like getting my car. Like my stress level was like a 10. I'm not going to say it was more than that. I'm going to say it was a 10. It was a lot, but I kept cool. It went down to an 8 when, I found out where my car is and that it wasn't stolen. But it went back up to a 10 with asking people for money. So that was another thing within itself, and I just couldn't get to. So that was just another stress. Ended up getting the $100, the extra money. It was people who came through for me, and I'm very grateful for them. Going to the towing place, the person over the phone, he told me that it was going to be $300 to get my car out. And I'm like, okay. I came up with the $300. I get there. The guy that was there said, it's actually $330. Got the price wrong. I'm like, I understand that, or he was looking at the wrong thing, but I'm like, no. He told me $300 and that's all I had. He said, well, unfortunately, the car is going to stay if you don't have the 30. I'm very sorry, and we don't want it to stay because it's going to be a $50 charge overnight. And I'm like, okay. On the phone told me that they picked up my car last night at 9. Or the previous night at 9. So I'm like, okay. So does the base start at $300? And because it was 9 o'clock, like $30 was additional. Like I'm really just not understanding. Like it's just like a whole thing. And I'm glad that I did ask for a little bit of extra from the people that helped me out, because I did end up getting the $330. I got my car out. I was happy, but like, it was a lot. It was a lot. Also trying to understand and the complexity of it. It's just also trying to put the pieces together. Because then when I got home, you just start thinking about all the small details that happen. I thought about the person who parks in this reserved parking spot. What's so important about you to be parking in this parking spot? Why couldn't you wait until the morning? Why do you need it? I definitely understand a handicapped person who needs to have that parking spot and getting out. I assume that it's something that's ailing you, that you can't be as far from your place that you need this parking spot. Understand that. But what is so important about this reserved parking spot that you need it? Because everything else, like in my apartment complex, there is no like reserved numbers. There is no reserved parking spots for anybody. Everything is open, but this one, like it's each one towards every building that has it or whatever, but it's just so weird. I assume, because I also have like a police officer who works there, or who has a police car that lives in my complex, that I'm like, okay, cool. I would assume that it's for them, but they don't park in that parking spot. Like, they don't even park in that parking spot. So I'm like, okay, who does this parking spot belong to? It was just a whole thing that I'm just start piecing together, and that just caused like more stress that I just really wasn't trying to like deal. So in the beginning of this episode, I said that I was going to talk about steps and what you do to de-stress. One of them is journaling. I'm glad that I put pen to paper and getting my feelings out on paper to get all this out, and I don't mind expressing it. Another way of de-stressing is, for me, I like to talk to this camera. I like to talk to this camera. I like to talk to you guys. I feel like with these stories are something that somebody can relate to, and also having crazy moments and something that happened to you just like this, that there's someone out there that is not going alone, or hasn't, words. I'm figuring this out and also trying to take it slow, so bear with me. But saying that there's somebody who also had the same experience as me can relate to what I went through too. So I'm happy. Everybody has to find their de-stresses, but journaling is cool. I wanted to talk about my peak. I'm really happy that Shaunda was there in my time of need. I thought my car was stolen, but it was just towed. I'm glad we can be calm in situations. She helped me not think so negative. I'm very happy that Stacy, mommy, and daddy, my granny, my Aunt Felicia, and Sierra as well, could help with the money. Selena gave me good advice, and I'm happy for that. Very happy they were here to help me out. It's crazy how the quote unquote figure it out works, because without them, I wouldn't know what I would have done. At the end, I said, I'm grateful that I'm able to ask for help. I'm grateful for my family and friends for being there for me. So journaling is very helpful. I hope people can find that they can do that, or I feel like after the pandemic, everybody's just closed off and don't really know how to talk. So I just feel like if you just want to see this stranger on the street, just put your woes on them. They can put your woes on you. It's at the end of the day. I really noticed that when people just talk about their stresses, that they're very thankful at the end. Like, thank you for listening. Like, I know that you don't need to hear that, but yeah, and I'm like, it's fine. I want to hear it, because we're all human beings. And if you don't have somebody to talk to at the end of the day, I feel like going home and just telling somebody there was this kind person on the street that we just ended up talking for a minute, and just heard me out. I'm really cool for that. Another de-stress, and I'll end it off here. The last de-stress I'm going to say is gaming. I feel like gaming can get you out of this world. And speaking out of this world, my Meta headset is my de-stressor. I am in love with my Meta headset and having VR. Reason why is because tennis, as I said before in previous episodes, tennis is my therapy. It's so therapeutic for me that it just gets me out of the zone. This VR, it can't beat the real world. It can't beat the real thing, but the fact that I can escape the real world and all of it is huge. With Meta, I play match point tennis. And it was so intense for me that I was just very happy that when I took it off and I won my match, that I'm addicted to it. I can play it again. But with gaming, I really love the escape of it. I really love that it can just take you out. Before I had my PlayStation and, my Xbox, my Nintendo Switch. I'm trying to get back into it. I only have one TV, so my TV is in my bedroom, and it being in the living room without a couch just doesn't make any sense. So I only have my Nintendo Switch plugged up in there. Everything else is just waiting until I get a TV for my living room. And yeah, but gaming is huge. My Meta headset is now huge for me. Before it just sat, but now I really have gotten into it. So I'm really, really happy about that. And this, guys, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shaunda. I'm really grateful for the people who do follow, for the people who do support. I'm really grateful that you can have a listening ear, and then also hearing that people do watch me and find my little Instagram ones, funny or something that they just needed to hear. So I'm very, very grateful for it. So just remember to rate, like, comment, and subscribe on my Apple, Spotify, and YouTube page. You can DM or comment on any of my social medias. You can share your stories with me. Please let me know if you relate to anything about this episode. And you can email me at imjustsharingpod@gmail.com. I'm hoping to hear from you. I know that it will come. I'm manifesting it. But yes, it will come. But I will definitely see you guys in my next episode. See you. Bye. Yay.